Hey guys, how y'all doing? Hope you're all having a good start to your February. Just have a couple updates here for today. Some cool events coming up in the near future. A little bit of an update on some things on the dev side, and probably wrap up with some of the cool things that I've been seeing out there in the news and kind of our kind of take on those and how we're going to be more active there. So just starting off, ETH Denver is going on. So this is a huge event. This is probably one of the bigger, more kind of open, friendly, more conversational kind of meetups throughout the year. So it's super exciting. I'm going to be in ETH Denver next week along with some of the team. I think at least 3 or 4 of us are going to be there, so I'm super excited about that. We will be walking around at the event. If anybody wants to get in touch or say hi, I'm sure I'll see people around. Going off of that, this is kind of in line with some of our partnership activities. I think one of the kind of themes that I've had of the past few months has kind of been, how can we be a better partner to those that we support and that support us? And what that means is just going out there, finding people that are more like-minded with us and seeing how we can leverage each other's knowledge and skill set to be more effective. So with that being said, there are going to be some pretty cool updates on that. I do expect to have a lot more coming out, especially, instead of the typical just partnership announcements where it's just more or less for marketing purposes. A lot of the partnerships that you see us talking about going forward, they're going to be a lot more effective in a specific product that we're building in collaboration with them, or building a specific solution for that partner, that kind of thing. And you can expect to see those coming out here as we go into more and more partnerships. Speaking about those, there are a couple of blockchains we've been super active on for the past, 4 years. Ontology and Tron are, unfortunately, both of them have been on version 1 of UTrade this entire time. The reason for that is a little complicated. Ontology does not use a standard EVM that's as compatible until very recently. And so what's been happening with them is we've been seeing a lot of challenges in trying to upgrade the smart contracts to interact in the same way that version 2 does across the board. So that is something that's in production. It's up, it's live on testnet right now. You can go and actually try it out. As soon as their go live of their EVM comes out, people will be able to start using it just as effectively as they can on other blockchains, which is super important to our future and how we're going to be connecting, or I should say interconnecting these blockchains. And second to that is Tron. Tron has had its own challenges. This has been a lot more work, specifically because of how though they are EVM compatible, there are some very subtle differences and complexities that kind of have to be accounted for when you deploy a very large set of smart contracts there. So all those considerations come into play. This is something that we've been working on for quite a while, and I am super excited to announce a fully compatible version of version 2 is going to be coming out there as well. With both of these, I would expect to see changes on V1 that could include a redeployment of the UP token. So for those of you that currently have UP, it doesn't mean it's going to be going away, but there could be a new version of UP coming out. And for those of you that have provided liquidity there on each of those blockchains, it may require you to move liquidity around. We're going to give tons of notice, tons of time here. There's no risk here for people in terms of the UP token and things like that, but it is something that we want to make you all aware of as we transition through this, because this is going to be a pretty big shift for us. And I would expect these to begin within the next couple of weeks. So with that being said, There are some additional blockchains we have been working with. This kind of goes in line with partners, and typically we build things for a public release first, but actually, as some of you have heard me talking, we have more and more private activities going on. We are acting more and more as a more traditional tech company, and as a result, we do have people that we're specifically building solutions to, some more experimental features that have been coming out that will eventually become fully public. But what that means is we are developing on blockchains today, and I do expect us to actually be live on some additional blockchains prior to a full public retail release. These are more B2B type of solutions that are going to be the first step in building out larger infrastructure for retail. So there are several blockchains that are in the works now, and so I expect those to be online probably even sooner than Tron and Ontology. And when you guys do see those come out for a public release, these will have been live for quite some time and should already have plenty of activity, liquidity, and activity in line with them. So going on that same note, why we're doing all of this, we are really trying to lean into one of our founding tenets here, which is building solutions to Web3 problems. There are a ton of problems out there in relation to DeFi. People don't typically have a clear understanding or explanation of how APRs work, how APYs work, how impermanent loss affects you. And you can tell this because there's not a lot of historical data. If you actually go out there and look for APYs or APRs within different ecosystems, it's kind of hard to find historic information. Probably your best source is Reddit, which is crazy. And the reason for that is because when you see an APR or an APY there, you're seeing a snapshot on that DeFi platform and what that would mean if it was projected out for the coming year, the next 365 days. And so that's pretty challenging because if you're coming in when the market is hot and you're going, oh man, these APRs are so fantastic, you're seeing it off of a hot market. You're not seeing it a week ago when things were calm or when things were not as active as they are now. And so I think that kind of does mislead people. It does encourage people to add liquidity and have a certain expectation of when they tune back in and go, oh, wait a minute, why is this APR drop by a factor of 10? That kind of explains why. And I think that looking at things like APR and APY in a more historic way is very important. So we've been diving really deep on back testing a lot of things and how they operate and what those actual APRs are or have been, and taking a look at some of the problems around impermanent loss and seeing how we can build more interesting solutions. So all of that is coming out. That's all in the works. And like I said, by the time that it comes out in a retail capacity, these should be very, very well established and tested methodologies. So those are kind of the main things that are happening now. These are ongoing activities within the organization every day. And I want to talk really briefly about some of the things that have been on our mind for a long time, because I think that they're important to us as a community or as an organization. And that's DAOs. Specifically the Dune Bible. For those of you that aren't aware, Spice DAO actually just passed a proposal. Not that recently, but fairly recently, to purchase the Dune Bible. This is the Jodorowsky screenplay for the Dune film that he was trying to make. There was a documentary about this as well. So they passed this proposal to buy it for about $3 million, and the DAO effectively bought it. And I think it's a really interesting topic, because when you look at a DAO taking an action and purchasing something, you really have to ask yourself, okay, well, they're voting on this, right? So this DAO is making a decision to spend money to purchase something. but that purchase can't happen on chain. So ultimately, what decision they're voting through is they're approving funds to be transferred to a person with the trust that that person or that organization or the person that signs off on it, that physically gets it, does it in representation of the DAO. And I think that this kind of highlights one of the biggest issues that we have today, which is until a DAO is effectively a person, I think it's going to be very challenging for something like that to be upheld in such a way where a DAO can actually own a physical object or piece of land property. And these are all long-standing discussions. But barring that, there is plenty a DAO can do today. So DAOs can interact with smart contracts. They can upgrade their own contract. They can transfer funds, and do anything on chain that they like. And I think that's super interesting. And I think that by having a more open and honest and direct conversation about it, you can kind of see where I think we're going to approach this, which is looking at the DAO as a means to kind of start to build a truly decentralized organization by putting out there some experiments around what users can do in relation to a DAO, how they can, what activities are available. And so I think that coming into this year, you're going to see a lot more activity from us on the DAO side. So that's really all that I have to really talk about today. I'm going to cut us off here. For those of you that are around next week, feel free to reach out and we'd like to see you. And on that note, I'm going to cut us off here. So thank you all so much and have a good one.